think everything's good to go. Without further ado, quick recap, a lot happened. Shane is a scumbag. Grizz sacrificed himself. I'm still simping for Domic. The problem is I missaid his name once and called him Demix. Instead I'm calling him like a combination between the two, unfortunately. Also we now have Howl, who is the spirits of the damned. We all died, but then we didn't die because writing good. It occurred to me what it felt like. It felt like your stereotypical soap opera that the writing, like the writers wrote themselves into a corner. So the way to get out of it was just like, I'll start killing people randomly. And that's how they got out. It's like how they made like the plot move and whatever. Shane's an ass and a dumbass. Shane's an asshat and stupid. They could have made something interesting there, but they didn't. Or maybe they were and then chickened out of it, I don't know. Regardless, we are going on to the fourth act of the game, where we are going to the desert area, Alarinthia, to go and find more troops, basically. I make my way to the ship as Damek instructed. Everyone is already gathered around. Am I late? Before long, I'm spotted by a few of my friends.
Hey there, Monarch. Glad
Yeah.
to see you made it on time. They're just about ready to leave Mazeo.
That reminds me. A part of dying and how now existing, all of the spirit realm's power is now shared between me, him, and the sword on my back. And because of that, that makes us the next heir to the ancient civilization that was what the spirit realm peoples were. They got trapped there and weird things happened. But anyway, didn't mean to gloss over that.
I'm so excited to see what Alarinthia is like. I mean, except for the heat, of course. Yikes. But I guess there'll be plenty of time to adapt.
Yeah, I don't think our visit there will be a short one. It's kind of a tall order, forming an alliance with Alarenthia. They take their independence seriously, even more than Valinworth.
I had a button on a controller next to me, and that got rid of the screen.
I think that Vivian will be our best shot, but I trust you and Domic to get this done. You're a dream team, so this has to go well.
You're a dream team. Upon hearing his name, Dominic's ears perk up. He turns around and runs to face me, excited. I'm impressed at how fast he organized this.
Monarch, perfect timing as always. I was just telling my friends about you. Here, let me introduce you to some of them.
He starts walking away, leading me to some nearby rebels. I've never seen them before, but they're lucky to be alive. The previous attack almost took everybody from us, Jesus.
As your advisor, I have a few close friends. They'll provide me with counsel when you're busy. We both know that's going to be quite often, Monarch.
This much was true.
Everybody, I'd like to introduce you to the Monarch. Treat him as you treated me. He's your new leader now, and after this war, he'll be the new ruler of Alestia.
That was an overwhelming thing to think about. Oh, that was still overwhelming to think about. I guess I'll have to take things as they come, one step at a time. Dominic's friends take turns stepping forward, seemingly nervous.
I've heard a lot about you, Monarch. Until you arrived, you're all Damek could talk about. You have my allegiance. My sword is yours to command.
We saw Vance in one of the side stories with Domic.
And mine, too. Trust me, Monarch. We got this. After this is done, Alestia will belong to us. And if I'm honest, it's about damn time.
I feel like the voice does not fit the face.
Yeah, the Triumvirate has ruled over us for far too long. A change is overdue. It'll keep things nice and interesting. Please, Monarch, come to me if you need any assistance at all.
What about Spice? Spice and Wolf. As if they rehearsed this, they all step back in unison. It was nice to see that Dominic had the support of his rebels. They don't seem to hold him accountable like Hal did.
Well, I guess that's everything I needed to do. The food and supplies have all been taken aboard. Alex took care of it overnight. I guess he couldn't sleep.
I don't blame him.
Should we continue the rest on the ship? There's still a few people you need to meet. After that, we're in for a long, boring trip.
I nod and start to follow him aboard. Everyone else follows suit until we're all loaded up. This will be my first time at sea. I hope my body takes it well. The boat is rather large. It can easily fit all of us. Wasting no time, as soon as we're on, they prepare to set sail. Pirates run about the ship, making last-minute preparations. I see even Milas aboard, and that sight slightly surprises me. However, before I'm able to say anything to him, the pirates take charge. Their leader steps into the middle of the deck and shouts orders.
Come on, everybody, let's do this! They'll write about this voyage in the history books. Let's give them something memorable to read about.
I forgot about him. Very aggressively read. His crew nods and exchange witty banter as they prepare. It seems like life as a pirate could actually be pretty fun. I feel glad that we chose to support him. He seems nice. I walk to the center of the ship and slowly inspect my surroundings. It's a bit packed, but that's because nobody went... Who's going to rule over Mazeo? Because Grizz is dead. Indeed, Sunday stream hoodie. Is that it just occurred to me that if we had chosen the other pirate, she would have been here and she wanted half of Mazeo. And that was like done because of what Grizz said. But Grizz is dead now. I guess his assistant would be in charge? I don't know if that's how that would work. Anyway, how you doing? It was a bit packed, but that's because nobody went to the crew quarters yet. I could tell from the outside that this place has more than enough space. As soon as Dominic sees me, he runs towards me. A few people follow behind him. More introductions? I guess it's fair, I hadn't met many of the rebels yet.
Monarch, we're almost ready to set sail. Here's the people I wanted to introduce you to. It's important for morale that you get along with our forces.
Oh.
However, these aren't just any rebels. These are the seers that you created back
Wait,
at our
then they
HQ.
should be villagers, I should know
They're
them.
grateful for your
maybe.
gift, and I think they want to meet you.
I guess he was just I guess that's what he meant by continuing it on the ship. Late night sketches. Aww. Are you sketching Yote or Binoy?
I'll leave you to it. Come find me if you want to chat while we sail. Something tells me there won't be much else to do. Oh well. Worst case scenario, we can get Pro to bring out his cards.
Oh boy. Gods. With a smile, he runs off to attend other business. Even though he steps down, he was still a busy man. I wonder if that's the same fate that awaited me. Probably. I turn to meet these new people, ready to make friends.
I must thank you for this gift, Monarch. It was alarming at first, having all these visions. But now we know they can be used to secure victory.
What is with their love of neon light blue? Some anatomy stuff. Oh, fun. I'm a bit behind on my drawing homework. Oh no, I still have to do today's. Oh, but I also have to do faces. Hands night. Oh, very fun. Yeah, I'm in the gesture drawing phase. Gesture drawing, doing it quickly and having something that I don't absolutely hate is difficult. But I think I've kind of gotten a little better at it. Either that, or I've relaxed my standards and I don't hate everything I create. One of the two. Oh, but I am behind on my perspective. I forgot about that. I got lazy on that.
We know that we may not be able to enjoy this victory, but
Oh.
honestly, I would give anything to serve somebody like you. All I ask is that you go on to live happy lives after the war.
Oh, did making you a seer give you purple eyes?
These happy lives may elude us, but we've accepted that.
Goodness.
To give our friends a bright future? No price is too high to pay.
Aww.
We are yours to command, Monarch, until we are of no further use.
Jeez, that's like kind of... Wow. She stole my eye design, what the hell? Anyway. Maybe that's why the Scalera seemed familiar. I'm not dismissing them. It's good to see that things went well. Honestly, creating seers could have gone horribly wrong horribly fast. To know that I used the blade effectively gave me great pleasure. I continued to walk along the ship, taking in everything I see. After a few steps, I notice Ulrich and Pro are lost in conversation.
Stop whining, Pro. This trip will be over before you know it. I have my complaints too, but there's nothing I can do.
That first line read was great. You could hear the annoyance in his voice.
Stop whining, Pro. This trip...
But you're not scared of the sea, Ulrich. Oh, this is gonna be like torture, I know it. Do you know where I can find some buckets?
Ah, I see.
Getting queasy already? We haven't even set sail.
Like, you could hear the quiver in his voice of, like, holding back rage. Like, Rose has been going on about this for too long.
Oh man, you're making it worse.
I forget what you take for seasickness. I laugh and continue walking. More of my comrades are talking amongst themselves. That's good. We had a long and likely boring voyage ahead.
But that's not Salus, right? He's been dead for a while. Oh man, I'm worried for Milas.
Quit saying it's going to be a boring trek, because then it's going to be not boring. And when we're out at sea, that's terrifying.
It's weird to see him alive, but I also know it's not really him.
Are you even listening to yourself right now? I can't believe we can say these things and mean them. Like, what's going to happen with no more Spirit Realm?
You see, I skipped the first sea, so I read it as monster sea fight, monster fight. Such a cracker. Kraken. No, we'll befriend the Kraken, and then it will be our super ally.
Who knows? Everything we knew was wrong. At the end of the day, maybe Valinor will be fine. I don't see how some prison could have kept it warm.
You're right. And that's amazing. Let's push all this weirdness aside and agree on that. We'll ask Salus. I mean, how, for sure. When we get the chance.
I don't think you would swim on it, right? You would just ride it. Like, you don't, like, run on your mounts. You ride them.
Of course.
It seems that they're still digesting these events. I can't blame them, everything is pretty crazy right now. Thankfully, we'd have plenty of time to continue digesting. Alarenthia was almost a day away, at least we get to sleep. Until then, I'd better make use of this time to talk to my friends. I had a lot happen the last day, I should check up on them. The ship shakes slightly and I lose my balance for a moment. I guess we're setting sail. I've never actually been at sea before. You have not done a lot of things, because you've been in one place for, like, your entire life. Pirates run amok, as if getting their designated as if getting to their designated workstations. What else would they be doing?
All right, everybody, here we go. We want a smooth voyage, so don't forget your schedules. Those of you with the graveyard shift, I'll make it up to you.
Aww. He climbs up to the rope netting on the side of the ship and looks out at the horizon. With a smile on his face, he points towards the vast body of water before us.
To the seas we go.
Yar har fiddle-dee-dee, being a pirate is alright to be. His crew repeated this, as if it were a mantra before we set sail. No, he doesn't. Well, no, this is just weird because there's like lyrics in the background music. I guess this was it. We're on our way to secure an Alorinthian alliance. Click on the arrow in the top right. We'll continue the story and the voyage to Alorinthia. It's highly recommended that you complete the series of onboard Heart to Heart. Wait, is this? Oh god. I hope to god it's something they created. Hopefully they don't copyright strike it. Should I just mute it to be safe? I don't think that they would have used it. I don't know. Same with their newest visual novel project. Oh! Is that also... What project are they working on? I turned up to listen to it a little bit. Right. We're saving those two for last. We'll start with Howl. Heart to Heart number 2. Howl stares off into the ocean, deep in contemplation. I imagine he'd have a lot to think about and a lot to process. Last we talked, he seemed conflicted about whether or not he fit in.
Monarch.
He turns to face me and gives me a small wave, welcoming me. I stand beside him and we stare off into the ocean together. The sun causes it to glisten, sparkling with a gentle beauty.
We're still conflicted. These thoughts won't go away. Visions of needless violence and senseless destruction. You may tell us that they aren't real, but we're unsure.
I would find that super hard to believe. I will say I had hoped that the main characters have more than 3 emotes, though. I'm intrigued. I hope the writing is better in it. I'm still tight about Shane's whole character existence. Ugh. Shane pisses me off. He really does. Like, I have to wonder if, like, they had bigger plans for him, but then, like, maybe ran out of time and that's why he did that. Because at the very least, it felt like the setup was there, but then just ignored. Anywho.
The emotions that well up within us are far too real. Is it possible for fake events to elicit real emotions? Or are we perhaps hearing echoes of the past?
Yes. Echoes of the past, what does he mean?
Let us phrase it differently. You know visions, yes? The monarchy used them to guide us to the best possible future. How can you know that best possible future without trial and error? There would still be many futures left unseen, and many pasts avoided. Knowing one true course of action requires disregarding millions of wrong ones. What if we are simply seeing these many avenues, almost like our visions have evolved?
Oh, I see. So their future sight didn't branch, I'm guessing. They had one vision the entire time.
If not evolved, then perhaps gotten muddled. Rather than see the one important future, we see everything. We do not know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, Monarch.
It kind of makes sense when you think about it. Seeing the best possible future was like one side of a coin. The other side still exists, and it's left covered up, unseen. Well, that doesn't quite work. Like, the metaphor doesn't quite work. I know, this is a simile, because it uses, like, it doesn't quite work, though, because you're now limiting the possible futures to two by saying it's two sides of a, like, one side of a coin. It's like one side of a coin in a endless ocean of coins. You don't look at the rest of them, and they all have their own... The coin metaphor bad. Maybe I'm just being overly critical, but... Or maybe I'm overthinking it. Many wrong futures, many wrong choices made. The mind likely blocked these out for a reason. Maybe he is sensitive after escaping his prison.
If this is true, then we exist unbound from time. A string in a labyrinth, with no one holding the other side. No one to tug. No one to guide us in the right direction.
Dumbass, you should have tied it off before you went in.
No one, of course. Except for you. Our visions may be useless at the moment, but are yours. We would recommend that you try inducing a vision, Monarch.
Oh.
Not right now, of course, but in your own time. However, when you do, we would request a favor. If you see the future, embrace it, but also look into the past.
Interesting.
The future you see blossoms from choice and consequence. Look back at those choices made, and conjure up the choices unmade. The loss, the heartbreak, the death. Maybe then you will know what pains us.
He is plagued with bad visions. He no longer sees the one true future. He sees everything. You know, they could have used they for this character. Because there's literally multiple entities within this one character. And that would have been extremely accurate. More so than just being a neutral pronoun. I think I had that thought last night, but then I couldn't figure out how to phrase it. And that is a curse that I would wish upon nobody. I can't even imagine how many times they've seen us all die, and for what.
There is only one thing that remains constant throughout these visions. Yourself, the Blade of Exodus, and the death it feeds off of. There is something self-serving about all three of these things.
The death it feeds off.
You always have that blade, and the people around you always die. When they do, it's almost like that makes the blade more powerful. It's like there's an essence released from our bodies when we pass on.
I think I figured this out a long time ago.
But is that the essence of life? Or the essence of death? Perhaps that is a choice the wielder of the blade must make. What do you think, Monarch?
Oh god.
Is that energy life? Or is it death?
When we die, I think our spirit is released. That's our life. If the energy is released when we die, then it's made of death. No, I think at the moment of death, the life that was there is now gone. Is this like a glass half full or half empty? I'm gonna go with our life.
An interesting thought, to say the least. If it's up to the
I
wielder,
bet he was gonna react the
at
same.
least we know where you stand. That blade is such a mysterious thing, and it grows ever stronger.
He's almost cryptically telling me what I already know. I know that the blade deals with the spirits of his victims. The Triumvirate use it to create their own massive army. Even if I kept a portion of every soul, it would get stronger with every kill. I even kept a portion. That combined with the power of the monarchy inside, immense power. A bit ironic if a portion of everybody the Triumvirate killed was used to end them.
We wonder if you possess this ability as well, to see the past. even when you stand in the present. Is that a curse meant only for us, or a gift to be further honed? It eludes our understanding, and we wish to know for sure. When we come back to the mainland, please return to Valenorth. Close your eyes, concentrate on the past, and talk to your comrades.
Okay.
Do they speak as they do now, or as they did back then? We think that this answer will be very enlightening for us, and if it is, then maybe you can understand our plight.
Well, people
How
change.
do we know where we are if our surroundings fluctuate? What if we already had this conversation, and this is but an echo? Perhaps we reside at the end of time, simply witnessing our demise.
I see. They're having trouble delineating what's actually happening and what's not, I think. At least that's what this sounds like. Like, if he's talking to himself in an echo, or talking to me in an echo, and it's not actually happening for them. But even though I would know that it's still happening. He's having trouble delineating the visions from the actual truth, or the actual world. He can't tell if he's in the Matrix or not. Okay, now he's lost me.
Sorry, we must appear insane. It's just hard, not being grounded in the present. The one downside of visions, being lost in time.
Okay, I got you.
Dreaming of that brighter future, and ignoring the present, looking back on the past, and focusing on our mistakes. We experience this tenfold, even mistakes we did not make. When we see your death, we feel pain, a pain worse than death, the loss of hope. That blade falls to the ground, coated in your blood.
Oh boy.
Comrades scream in agony as they befall the same fate. Then why do we stand there, only capable of watching? We wish to help you avoid this fate. That is our duty. We apologize for the lack of sense, Monarch. Your time is more valuable than that, limited as it is. Perhaps next time, we will make more sense of everything.
I wonder if you're just seeing it from the spirit's perspective. Like, when you couldn't interact with the world.
But try not to forget our advice and our request. We know there's a purpose for all of this. There must be. Together, we will find it, rather than stand here and complain.
I nod before leaving him behind. He was suffering, I could tell. I had enough trouble dealing with the visions of the future. I had enough trouble dealing with visions of the future. Hal must feel tortured. If there was anything I could do to help him out, I'd have to do it when I had the chance. It's possible that his body just doesn't know how to handle all of that energy. I was trained at a young age to handle it, so I had a grasp on what I should be doing. It is possible that, unless trained, someone's mind could be lost in the sea of time. Perhaps, I suppose. But this is a topic for another day. I returned to the deck of the ship, keeping a watchful eye on my comrades. On my watch, they would never meet a grisly fate that Hal had witnessed. For a moment, I decided to stare into the sea, watching the waves and ripples. I've been not out at sea, but I have been on water. Water doesn't really ripple. Open water does not really ripple. I mean, I guess not in the ring sense. It's almost all waves. I could have looked ahead to the future, toward Alarenthia, our final destination. But for a moment, I considered looking away from the path we set in stone. The sea continues to move, living a life of its own, despite our interference. Oh right, I wanted to try something. Aw, for feck's sake. I know what I can do. Okay. this one. Okay. I think I want this one. I'm just loading the game real quick. There's one thing I wanted to check. Beep. Is... How far can I backtrack? Because I wonder if, like, I can go back to older places. Like... Oh, wait. Aha. Like, can I, like, take the party back to, like, Valinor? Oh, we got a new cutscene.
What? No fair! How did you beat me?
Wait, I already read that one. Maybe not. Maybe it's not as deep as I thought. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it does. Okay. I was just curious if I could, like... Because there's, like, kind of this party system thing here. But I was wondering if, like, I could, you know, take the party elsewhere. Oh, also, that timeline that I was just on, I did a little bit of finagling about, and went and created 2 saves, one that is purely corrupt, and one that is purely pure. The purely corrupt one will make you a bit happy, Hoodie. It is all Fortum all the way.
You are not my father.
Yes,
you say this
I
to
am.
inform us or to console yourself?
Huh?
This question was self-explanatory.
It's just... I should be mad at you. Furious. You defile the memory and likeness of my father.
Who?
Do we? It seems that Salus
Was that supposed to be a
was an
woo?
honorable man. Are we not carrying out his final wishes?
What?
The freedom of Alestia. The destruction of the Triumvirate. When you look at it that way, it seems as if we defile nothing.
I don't know.
What are you wishing to know?
I want to know how I should feel right now. This is just so bizarre. I have no idea what to do. Back in Valinor, things were so simple and easy.
Why must you do anything? You could mull over this development for years, you know. At the end of the day, you should do something more useful.
Like what?
This is not for us to decide, but have no worries. We will take care of this body, and using it, we will do everything we can to honor your father.
Thank you. I'll let you know if I think of anything. This might take a while for me to understand.
I don't think he cares.
Very well, but please remember this. Lack of understanding is not a fault. In fact, it can be a strength. You flourished even though you did not know the truth of the spirits.
You're right. I think I need some time alone. I'll be down in the crew quarters, Hal.
For some reason... something, I think I heard at some point that multitasking shrinks your brain. But I don't know if that's a thing, or true. Auric number 3. Was a bad time to take a bite of chocolate bar. I made my way downtown, in the ship's cabin, to see Ulrich sitting on a bed. At least whatever passes for a bed aboard a somewhat cramped ship is actually a white chocolate. It's a Hershey's cookies and cream. It's pretty good. Don't at me, unless you agree. He's sharpening his sword, clearly exerting himself as he does so.
Hey there, Monarch. As you can see, I'm getting ready for combat. I give it 2 days before we are dragged into conflict. They don't use words to resolve things in Alarinthia. It's always a duel or a tournament. That's all they do. When we are there, we might as well speak their language.
He smirks, as if the promise of action is exciting to him. He did hate Alarinthia, but he also loved combat. It was his nature. Hopefully he'd get to tackle a challenge worthy of his skill while we were there.
Gotta make the most of a bad situation, right? I'll get to give my sword arm a real challenge. What about you, Monarch? Excited for this?
Oh, is this where I want to, Nah, I don't know if there's much point of flirting with everyone. Matching a certain death. You wouldn't have to resort to violence, Ulrich. Born ready. Of course. Can't wait to secure that alliance.
That's the spirit. We're going to make history. I really hope we can help Vivian and change the nation. As you know, that's been my dream for the longest time. It's nice to know that her movement actually has some traction.
For the longest time.
If only my parents were so lucky.
I
bet they'd be proud, Monarch. The foe may seem impossible to beat, but I have a feeling we can do it.
Now I'm worried, because you said was addicted. Do you dislike them now that you're older? Because you had them so much as a kid? Or do you just know your white chocolate limit?
That is, if we even get the opportunity to side with Vivian. If we get stuck with Dracu, I have to admit that I'll be disappointed. We'd get our alliance, but at the end of the day, Alarinthia would be the same. But I'm guessing you didn't come down here for a lecture. Have a seat. There's something I'd like to talk to you about.
I nod and sit down beside him. He continues sharpening his sword, and I watch. Must have gotten worn out during the day of battle at HQ.
I don't want to scare you, and I'm not really hiding anything. But we were about to go to my homeland. You might hear things. Can you promise me something, Monarch?
There's no limit.
No matter what happens.
No matter what happens?
Remember me for the things I've done for you and the rebellion. No matter what you hear about me or my past,
don't judge me.
Please, don't judge me. I wouldn't judge you based on your past, so I expect the same from you.
I nod. I can afford him that courtesy, as long as he's not hiding anything heinous. That's such a dumb word. Heinous. It's up there with Colonel. But he doesn't seem like the type. He's truly devoted his life to the same cause as me.
Good. Then that's pretty much everything I had to say. I was really worried. I wasn't sure how to handle that topic. So rather than overthinking it, I just shot straight. Thank you.
That works best for you, Ulrich. I don't know if that's mean of me to say.
It was especially hard since you're such a powerful figure. I'd hate to get on your bad side, so I need to be fully open. I have a few secrets, as we all do, but nothing really bad. If you don't find out in Alarinthia, I'll probably tell you myself. In fact, maybe it would mean more if it came directly from me. Sorry, I must sound stupid. I'm not really good at this kind of stuff. Talking about myself is hard. It definitely helps to get drunk. But ale was something they didn't think to pack for this voyage. Maybe I'll pull some strings so the ride back can be more lively.
What the kind of pirates are these that don't have any rum aboard? Unless he specifically wants ale. These pirates aren't real. These are fake pirates. He gives me another one of those trademark smirks. I get the feeling that he really does use alcohol as a social crutch. He's much more open and lively while under the influence. Is that bad? I guess it's not my place to say, as long as it doesn't get in the way of his duty. Something told me that our visit to Alarinthia would put him in the spotlight more than ever. I get up from the bed and turn around to face him. He continues working his sword.
Sorry, I didn't have much to say. I guess I'm a little shy.
Oh, well.
But it'll all make sense in time. I can promise you that. When that time comes, you need to keep your promise.
Did I read that correctly? Yeah, okay, they phrased it like that on purpose. And they know it. Yeah, I know you're centuries old, and you're that figure that Vivian wants to be, who, like, set out to try and change the world. He's really pushing this promise thing. Should I be concerned? I'd hate for him to use it as leverage if some horrible secret came to light. Thankfully, I see Ulrich as a good person. He wouldn't hide anything bad from us. Like he said, it'll all make sense in time. All I can really do is go about my business and wait. Suddenly, I'm more excited about our journey to Alarinthia. Both Alestia and my comrades were slowly opening up to me. Why did that give me 2 lines? In the last few days, everything had changed. What else would change? That thought fills me with both excitement and fright at the same time. Alright, go Valessa's heart-to-heart number 3. Don't worry, I'll catch up Fortum only up to this point so we can see the heart-to-heart in full action. I step toward Valessa, who has her hands on the ship's railing. She seems lost in thought, but who wouldn't be after recent events? Careful not to startle her, I simply stand beside her and rest my hands too.
You know, for once I thought things were going well. We had an army, and it seemed like our objective was clear. But they outsmarted us. They caught us off guard. We were careless. They always say to be cautious if things are going too well, especially in war. We got blinded by the victory we thought we secured. Nobody thought to question our course of action, or Domic's orders.
Are you throwing him under the bus?
And to top it all off, you don't need a scribe anymore.
Oh.
Fortum gets to lead our
Oh,
nation,
no.
and I'm left with nothing? That's hardly fair. Now I have no idea what to do with myself. I just wish things could be clear, like they used to be. If things were difficult, our future was certain. We don't even know if we can secure this alliance.
I want to say this not because I want to, like, see flirty things, but, like, I just like this more than this.
Really? Are you sure about that, Monarch? You have a world to save. You can't just focus on me. Another mistake would mean the end of our cause, permanently.
Oh, that didn't go as I thought it would.
I mean, that's why I haven't really had time to think about romance. What good is planning my future if I might not even be alive next week? That would just lead to heartbreak. Heartbreak could be catastrophic.
Alright, I'm undoing that. I will go with the generic, don't worry, it'll work itself out.
I want to believe you, but I'm just
Yeah,
not
I don't-
sure. We thought things would work out back at the Rebel HQ. Look how that turned out, Monarch. I don't want to sound mean,
Wait.
but I don't share those thoughts. It's important to take a step back and look at the big picture. That way, you don't get blinded and act based on your ego.
Well, damn. I don't think there's winning this conversation. Also, I cut her off. We don't even know if we can secure this alliance. Now I wanna see if I can find one that's, like, okay. She's just super depressed. You're right. Yeah, let's try this. We could have died in the attack. I did die.
Normally, hearing you say that would fill me with fright. But right now,
There we
it's important
go.
to know that I'm not alone. I'm not the only one who feels this way. That's good.
There we go. No depression arc. Although I guess maybe now we're kind of depressed.
It's not easy, having your whole belief system destroyed. If I'm honest, I kind of wish I never got thrust into this mess. Living in ignorance, just like everybody else. What a dream.
Ignorance is bliss as it goes.
After this war is over, we'll have to tell them the truth too. Do you think they'll even believe the truth of the spirit realm? I mean, do I even believe it? Part of me still feels doubt.
She lets out a loud sigh as we stare off into the horizon. The slow rocking of the ship pushes us closer together. With the distance closed, I can hear her more clearly. There's definitely more on her mind, I can tell. But I can't force her to open up, so I stand there in silence. My ears are open to her, as long as she decides to speak.
I was so lost in thought, I couldn't sleep last night. I decided to help Alex prepare the ship for our voyage. We got to talking, and he told me something shocking. I'm not even sure if I should tell you this, Monarch, but I guess it's something you deserve to know.
Oh.
Remember how those people recognized us?
Yeah, our parents were, we are on the sea, actually. To give you a quick recap, Crafty, everything was going well. And as with these kinds of stories, when that happens, something terrible has to happen. So a lot of people died. Deus Ex Machina, Spirit Realm came in to save the day. And the important people who were dead, myself and Domik, are no longer dead. And we now have our final party member, which is the wailing spirits of the damned that saved us. And now we're going across the sea to a country to secure an alliance with them. And to just, like, bolster our ranks, because they were basically wiped out. That's the long and the short of it. And also, yes, our parents were pirates. She must be talking about Grizz and Grayson. They both recognized us when we first met.
They recognized us too. Immediately. I assumed it's because they knew our parents. But then they told me how they knew them.
She closes her eyes and looks up to the sky.
Our parents were pirates, Monarch.
Oh.
Feared, hated, legendary pirates.
Nice.
Sure explains their trips to Museo.
Nice.
At first I didn't believe it. I was lost in denial, but they kept telling me more and more, and I had to accept it. I always pictured our parents as these perfect, untarnished people.
And the other thing that I had come to the conclusion of is everything was going so well, they just didn't know how to get out of it. And like any soap opera ever, they just started killing people to get themselves out of the corner they wrote themselves into. That was the conclusion I came to.
But they were killers. They broke the law. They pillaged. They were part of the reason the Triumvirate launched the occupation. I know what you're going to say. They wanted the idol. Piracy was a cover.
Yeah.
And while you may be right, the excuse was still valid. At the end of the day, piracy was running rampant throughout Museo. Our parents played a part in giving them this perfect excuse. Don't you see? And in doing so, they are partly responsible for all of those deaths. We always thought they were innocent victims. But were they really? Honestly, I doubt I'll be doing much sleep tonight either, Monarch.
That's not how that works. Like, ulterior motives aside, if they wanted to, like, stamp out piracy, they could have done that without murdering an entire city of people, I feel. So, if they just simply wanted to deal with the piracy, I think that's a stretch saying they're responsible. Or have any amount of responsibility in that. He lets out another sigh, even more exasperated than the last one.
Let's sum it up, shall we? There's no more
Parents are dead,
spirit
my
realm.
life, except a
Our
kid,
belief
I'm a
system
girlfriend,
was
and
shattered.
sadly,
Almost the
gobbled.
entire rebellion was killed in action. We were tricked. And to top it all off, I'm the daughter of some ruthless pirate killers.
Yeah, that pretty much sums up last night.
How am I supposed to process all of this? How will you? Your parents, my parents, Fortune's parents, all 6 of them. They're not the people we thought they were. What do we do?
Do better. Try harder. She nods while offering a reply of her own. But I know she understands this doesn't change much. The goals and the journey ahead of us would remain the same.
I'm just so lost, Monarch.
Honestly, part of me feels the same way. In that moment, there's nothing left to say. We stare off into the ocean together. This was a turning point in all of our lives. How we handled things would define who we became. Our conversation ends with that thought bringing both hope and despair. We are hitting Danganronpa. Hope, despair, hope, despair, hope, despair. I see Pro sitting at one of the beds, striking a match. Is he smoking it? Or is he smoking? He'll smoke matches. He uses it to light nearby candles, creating a laid-back atmosphere. The candle slowly fills the crew quarters with a sweet aroma. Very relaxing.
Hey there, Monarch.
Is it lavender?
Perfect timing, actually. I wanted to talk to you. I thought we could get to know each other a little better. Unfortunately, our time was cut short back at the Rebel HQ. But this is a long voyage, with no need to cut any corners. So, wanna have a seat? We can get things started. The candles are supposed to be relaxing, something about aromatherapy. I never really looked into it, but I'm scared of water, so I needed help.
Were you born a pirate, and then you fell into the sea, and that's where your parent, and then shipwrecked, and then... Were you on a boat when you were young? I sit down beside Pro on the bed, already one fact richer. Though he was scared of water, he must not be having much fun. It makes me wonder what else I don't know about him. He is a mystery.
You should tell me about yourself, Monarch. And this is because I'm genuinely interested, I swear. Whatever you tell me, I'll never write down in any books. That's what friends do, right? Confide in each other? I know I always talk about writing books and conducting interviews, but the truth is, this time, I want to keep things between the two of us.
I nod and tell him a random fact about myself. Nothing harmful, just small. He smiles and we start to exchange facts about each other. He seems really happy. The pressure not to write any of this down and treat me like a subject must be relieving.
Everyone always treats me with such apprehension, you know? Like, anything they tell me, I'll turn around and use it against them. That is a part of my business, but it's not I want to do things that way. I hope people don't treat me that way after the war is over. I'm quitting this swindler's life as soon as I get the chance. I'll still write, but I won't use information as a weapon. Ever.
I do like that he's like... He is like evil or bad, but he feels bad about it.
Instead, I'll use it to help those in need. You know, I've done it before and it feels good. Information can either be a sharp knife or a warm embrace. Weird metaphor, I know. But like I said, I'm no fiction writer. I prefer to focus on stuff that's real, like people and their actions. They ripple outwards, affecting people in ways they'd never know. Of course, that's something that applies to normal people. There's nothing normal about you, Monarch.
Rude.
No offense, of course. You're going to be in charge of the entire world after this war is over.
Wow, talk about putting the pressure on. Rose senses this and changes the subject.
Can I tell you a little secret? Maybe it'll make you see things differently. You know, so you won't picture me as a bad person. I can tell that a lot of people do, even if they don't say it. But all I'm doing is helping Damek win this war in the best way I can. It's not my fault I'm like this. All I can do is play with the hand I've been dealt.
He smiles, but suddenly a wave of fear overtakes my entire body. I shut my eyes tightly as the last phrase echoes in my mind. Where did I hear that before? Oh, right, during my visions. When I first touched the Blade of X's back in Valinor, a series of visions ended with me getting stabbed by a man. A man that, unfortunately, I am now able to identify as Pro. He lets out a soft laugh and rests his hand behind his head, laying back. I hear my heart beats incredibly fast, as this revelation slowly processes itself in my head. The final vision of the monarchy, the final vision the monarchy had given me, was a Pro betraying all of us? What was going on? Why would he do that?
There was this little boy who got abandoned by his parents. He didn't know why, and that hurt him so much. Maybe they just didn't want him. But why? What did he ever do to them? It made no sense, and he hated that. He had to grow up on the streets, living on the scraps that other people threw away. It wasn't just his parents, you know. It almost seemed like nobody wanted him at all. That just made things worse. Can you imagine feeling unwanted by the world?
As he starts telling me the story, the anxiety slowly dissipates. Pro was a swindler, right? Maybe he was only pretending to kill me. I don't think Pro could hurt me. There must be a deeper meaning
He
here.
started to pick up on people's secrets. You know, just little things. After a while, he found out that people would pay anything to learn these secrets. As a teenager, he used this ability to live a luxurious life of gluttony and sloth. He knew secrets that could topple cities or destroy people's relationships. But none of that gave him satisfaction, because there was one thing he never knew. Why his parents abandoned him. Why they didn't want him. Did he deserve it? It was too humiliating to admit, so he made up another story. His parents died during the occupation. That was much less embarrassing. Everybody believed him, and that helped him fit in with a new group of people.
I feel like this is every rogue in D&D, or every new player's rogue character in D&D. Abandoned by family, family killed.
This new group of people, the rebellion, wanted to use his skills for good. They accepted him with open arms, which is something nobody had ever done before. He knew he found his place
So
in the
he does
world,
seem like a better
and
character
since
than
then,
those.
he served his new family. He keeps prodding the locals for information, picking up all sorts of secrets. He wants to know why people do the things they do, and what motivates them. He does this so nobody has to suffer like he did. Simply not knowing the reason.
I notice he starts to get sad and tears forming in his eyes. He's talking about himself. He's the boy in the story. I can tell. No shit, Sherlock. Perhaps telling me as if it were a story made it easier for him.
So everybody thinks this guy is bad. A blackmailer and a swindler. He might be right, but it's just how he grew up. He had no control. He had nobody to show him how to act. Nobody to care or love him. Until the rebellion took him in, of course. I'm sure you already guessed it, but that boy is me.
No.
All my actions, however bad, have had a reason. I want to keep going until I learn about my parents. Where are they now? Why did they throw me away? If they weren't proud of me, then would they be proud now? I hope you can understand. I really do. I'd do anything to learn where they are right now. I'd follow any order. I just want to see them face to face and finally learn the reason why.
Oh no. There's his reason for betraying us.
That's why I threw myself into this world of secrets and trickery. I thought that if I kept going, maybe one day I'd learn the truth. I guess we'll find out before this war is over. Right, Monarch?
I nod and give him a soft smile. It meant a lot to me that he opened up. It must suck not to know the truth of something like that. I can't even imagine. but it explains why he's so obsessed with learning about actions and motivations. We talked for a bit longer about nothing important before parting ways. Perhaps he wanted to ease the tension in the room after dropping those facts. After we're done, he seems happy and we seem closer. There was no loss here today. What? Why did you phrase it like that? Now I'm worried. Fortin, heart to heart, number 4. Fortin paces around the deck of the ship, deep in thought. Everything changed over the last few days, so this was insane. I hope he's handling it well. I better go see how he's doing.
Hey there, Monarch. There's something that's been driving me insane. You know how we were all freaking out about Valenorth? Without the heat from the spirits, it'd freeze over and die. I mean, we believed it, but right now, it doesn't make any sense. The spirit realm is a prison, right? Nothing mystical or beneficial. It matches up with what people outside of Valenorth were saying. We were just superstitious and lived in a unique location. The monarchy gave us visions, and nothing more. We'll have to ask Howl the moment we get the chance. If it's like I think it is, then Valenorth will be fine. No risk at all. As hard as these truths are to believe, they do have their benefits.
In talking to me, he stopped his pacing and looks happy. It's true that our beliefs were shattered, but it's not a bad thing. Also, something Thor Ragnarok, your people is where, your people are where you live, and where you live isn't where you live, or whatever the fuck. I don't remember. I know that was the meaning of it. It's just like, Asgard is still Asgard. Even if the place where they lay their heads down is gone, the people are, if the people are there, they're still Asgard, or whatever the hell it was. A new understanding of the world gave us a new angle to tackle our problems from.
At least it'll make my leadership of Valenorth a lot easier. The one major problem I had to take care of, completely eliminated. I couldn't ask for anything better. It's almost like one last gift from the spirits.
Yeah, but now I have to get everybody to believe it.
Let's just hope we get lucky like that in Alarinthia. Securing an alliance with barbarians sounds super difficult. They're stubborn in their tradition, just like Valenorth is known to be. But their tradition isn't steeped in the spirits like ours was. At the end of the day, will they even care about any of this? They almost live a world away, untouched by our problems.
That's a good point.
No point worrying about things out of our control, right? Maybe we should talk about something we do have power over. Remember that climbing gear Pro gave me money for?
Oh my god.
Well, check it out.
He's gonna climb the mast. He wanders over to a bag on the deck, and reaches inside. A few moments later, he reduces some clawed metallic objects. It appears that there is one pair for your feet and one for your hands.
They're adjustable, so you can wear them no matter what. You don't need to look for a foothold anymore. You can make them yourself. As long as you're strong enough, there's nothing you can't climb, Monarch. I know what I'm doing as soon as we get back. I'm heading to Valenorth and climbing the Grand Tree. I want you to join me. It'll be a good place for you to learn. I know what you're thinking, though. Why would I learn to climb on something so difficult? Well, you have gear now. I never did. It's a huge advantage.
That's how you learn rhythm games. You just play on the highest difficulty, and then you just get better at it. Or you quit. At least that was the advice that I had, I think seen or heard randomly, for Beat Saber. It was just don't play songs on easy if you want to, be good at the game. Just, play on, Expert or Expert Plus, and just fail over and over and over again.
The only thing holding you back will be your energy. But with everything we've been through, this should be simple. I think it'll only take a few hours to climb, if I'm totally honest. I'll bring us a backpack with a bunch of water. Or maybe we should split that over 2 backpacks. Don't want to make one of us carry too much weight.
He puts the climbing gear back in the bag, clearly excited. There's a breath of fresh air to hear him talk about this stuff so passionately. Everybody else is so concerned about the war, it's nice to just push that aside.
Anyway, it'll be nice to make some history together. Not many people can say they've been to the top of the Grand Tree. Maybe we'll start a trend, the sort of coming-of-age thing, you know?
I don't think I've seen him this excited in a long time. For a moment, it feels like all of my worries have simply washed away. Aww. They've slipped into the ocean and become nothing more than gentle ripples. Poor Tim starts to walk around the ship again and stretch his body. It's almost like he was preparing for the marathon of a lifetime. Of course, this had been a lifelong dream of his after all.
I know there's so much danger in our future, but there's happiness too, you know?
Oh my
Lots to
god,
look
poor
forward
Tim
to.
is just so pure.
Besides, I doubt I'll be key to our Alorinthian alliance, so in the meantime, there's not really anything else I can do. I've been practicing my climbing on the netting of the ship. People are worried that I'll fall off, but I tell them not to worry. It's very rare that I fall off. I usually shake it off pretty quickly. I saw some of them get together and make some betting pools. It's a pretty boring voyage, so they make their own entertainment. I suddenly start to know why pirates enjoy fighting and gambling so much. When you're out at
like
sea,
the
there's
sun
just
radiating
nothing much to
joy.
do. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, he is.
I'd go insane if I were a pirate. I just know it. After this war, I think I want to settle down on the mainland. Sailing isn't for me. I can say that with absolute certainty.
I'm not sure this is life for me either. It's just different. Valinor was completely different, a completely different atmosphere from any of this. Even Mosea was a bit of a culture shock to me and my friends. I can't even imagine what Alarinthia and Beltaeus will be like. I look off to the horizon. We must still be pretty far away. There's no sight of land ahead. How much further to go?
Sorry for rambling on, but yeah, there's nothing else to do. I bet the other people will be able to keep your interest longer. But before you go, I have just one question to ask you.
He stops stretching and walks right up to me with a sly smirk.
Do we make it to the top or do we fail? What's your bet, Monarch? And no refusing. We're on a pirate ship, so we need to act like pirates.
What? I say we make it all the way to the top and make history. I say we try our best but don't make it all the way to the top. Nah, we're gonna be positive.
Optimism? I love it. The other pirates didn't share that trait. They seem to actually look forward to failure. Though I guess that would be fun to watch. Can you imagine if I fell on the netting into the sea? I'd probably stand by and laugh rather than help.
Yeah, probably.
I guess we can figure that out when the time comes. Which, as I'm starting to realize, is pretty darn soon. Think of some ideas in your off time, alright?
What?
We'll announce the terms before we climb.
Huh? Terms? With a wink and a smirk, he quickly runs off on his way. Full of energy, it seems, or perhaps he's going stir-crazy. I don't blame him, being stuck at the sea with nothing else to do. I guess our goal was clear. We climbed the Grand Tree. That is, if we even made it back from Alarinthia in one piece. His ability to focus on positive stuff during war is admirable. Admirable, if not a bit naive. Hopefully I could join in his... You did! That's why I was optimistic, because of how he was behaving. In a sense, the pirates do love a bit of... But this blade on my back, both literally and figuratively, weighs me down. I might leave it on the surface when we climb. Yeah, that would make things easier. A lot easier. Fortum's loyalty scene is now available when you return to the mainland. The game will notify you when you have access to the loyalty scene system. Loyalty scenes can be initiated by clicking on that character at the war table. You told me that already. Alright. Now we're having my dessert. Right, Dominic Hot to Hot 3! Dominic sits in a bed staring down at the pendant I saw him hold back at HQ. He had faced death and come out the other side. That would change any man. I wonder if he's a damned corpse. Or if he somehow lucked out. But what happened while he was gone? That's a question that's been on my mind. I approached cautiously, careful not to startle him out of his reverie. When I get close to him, he looks up at me, making no effort to hide his tears. He finally had time to process everything that happened back in those tunnels.
I was such a fool, Monarch. Shane tricked me. I was careless. I should have never let him get close to me. He knew my weakness and exploited it. He made me so happy to see him again, I thought I was finally ready.
Weakness? What does he mean?
Will you have a seat with me, Monarch? I guess I should tell you the truth of what happened. From the sidelines, I must have looked incompetent. I mean, I'm trained in combat, you know. I should have been able to avoid Shane's dagger with ease. It's what they're all thinking, even if they don't say anything.
With my interest piqued, I sit down beside Dominic. He puts the pendant... Oh god. He puts the pendant into one of his pockets and turns to face me. I could tell that his crying spell was over. He was more calm and collected.
Back during the occupation, my parents were killed. I saw them murder my father with no hesitation. Blood. Everywhere. After that, my mother took my hand and tried to find us some shelter. We didn't make it very far. We saw all the bodies in the town square, mountains of them. The ground was full of blood, almost like an ocean. If you look closely, you can still see some of the stains.
Oh, jeez.
Even today.
This seems unrelated to Shane's attack, but I still listen. I sit and listen. He told me that he'd tell me the truth, so I should see where this goes.
My mother made a judgment call and did something risky. What's the one place they would never look for survivors? That's right. Amongst the corpses, covered and crushed by them. I was crying, but she helped me get underneath a bunch of bodies. She played dead and lay on the outside, holding my hand as tight as she could. I remember how she kept telling me that everything would be okay. That soft whisper.
Wow.
She didn't make it very long. They found her and stabbed her over and over. I felt her wince every time. The grip of my hand got tighter and tighter. Then, after a while, it just let go. I got to feel her final moments. The voice telling me that everything would be okay soon went silent. I was left there, under a pile of bodies, covered in blood. The last embrace I remember.
That's why he doesn't shake my
The
hand.
last time I held a hand. It's not something I could ever do again. It just reminds me of that day. Now you understand how Shane made me freeze in fear and surprise. He was the only other person I told this to. He used that to trick me. And he would have killed me too, if it wasn't for you and Hal. I was finally ready to get close to somebody again. And then this happens. That's how I know Shane wasn't just acting. He played dirty, and he wanted me dead. There was so much running through my mind the moment he stabbed me. I thought perhaps he was trying to win over the triumvirate so he could get more intel. But then he stabbed me again. And again. I knew that the man I once knew was gone. They did something to him while he was imprisoned. They won him over. I don't know how they did it, but they turned him into a completely different person. We must never let another one of our allies fall under their thrall. Never.
I nod, agreeing with Dominic. But that was a horrible story. Going through that as a child. His aversion to physical contact makes perfect sense now. And Shane is an awful person taking advantage of that. Startling Dominic, making him relive those memories and killing him. That was despicable.
Sorry for dropping all of that on you, Monarch. I just needed to tell somebody. It was eating away at me. And I trust you. I know you'd never do anything like Shane did.
That goes without saying. However, the room soon falls to silence. Dominic fidgets awkwardly, clearly nervous.
Well, I guess that's enough to kill any conversation. Like I said, I'm sorry for dropping all of that on you. Anything else you need to say to me while you can?
I know that the flirty thing is wrong. Because of his aversion. But I want to see where it goes. I'm curious. I think this is probably the right one. I say nothing off my hand. In response, he winces and Mew was a few inches away. I'm not sure what I expected. It just felt like the right thing to do. Yeah. Yeah, no. I knew that one was wrong. Loaded.
Well, I guess that's enough to kill any conversation. Like I said, I'm sorry for dropping all of that on you. Anything else you need to say to me while you can?
I don't think he. I don't think he. I don't. Opening up is a good thing.
It's easy to say that, but it's harder to actually try. Especially when you've had a track record like I have. I want to, but there's just something stopping me, you know? It's nothing against you, or anyone else I consider a friend. I just have to put this barrier up for my own benefit. I don't want to hurt anybody either, actually. This is war. I almost died back in the Rebel HQ. If I did, can you imagine the pain my allies would feel? Getting close to somebody in a time like this would be a disaster.
He smiles and gets out of the bed. I do so as well. I could tell that he was ready to end this conversation.
Well, shall we call it then? I think this is as good a time as any. Let that new information process for a while. When it comes to my past, that's about it. From now on, we can look to the future. I hope it's just as bright as I picture it.
With that, he walks away from me and back up to the deck. I was glad that he liked me enough to tell me about his past. It was my duty to never take advantage of that, like Shane did. Fuck Shane. I hate that character so goddamn. I really, really do. Alright. Maximum bun incoming. Also some fast forwarding. OB7, this is him bitching about being dumb. Oh, I need to do the thing. Oh god, I didn't catch this one up correctly. Part 1.
Are these memories? We may not. Why do you?
Nice hair you have today. Back. Yes. Back to menu. Back to menu. Next. Oh. Oh yeah, Vivian. Vivian's will be our best shot. Hopefully you and Hal can get along. Wait, what? Wait, what is this?
I think that Vivian will be our best shot. Hopefully you and Hal can get along, Monarch. It's a new partnership, but it certainly shows promise.
Oh, the bun timeline. Upon hearing his name, Hal's ears... Oh, right, because you have to choose Hal as your, advisor, not Dominic. No, upon hearing his name, Hal's ears perk up. He walks toward me, ending his previous conversation. I can't believe this was all organized so fast, and so efficiently.
Monarch, glad to see that you made it. We were just talking with some new supporters. It appears that our partnership is welcomed by many. We are not the only ones who hold Dominic accountable. If it's okay, we'd like to introduce you to a few of them. Hopefully they will solidify your choices correct.
I nod and follow Hal back to where he was before, a few rebels standing there smiling as they see me. Hal motions toward them, and I step forward.
Pleasure to meet you, Monarch.
I go there,
I'm glad to
people.
see that you survived the attack. Thanks to Dominic, not everybody was so lucky.
They told us he was an unparalleled strategist. Well, if he is, he lost the chance to prove it to us. I gotta say, I'm glad you changed the way things are run.
Phew.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Hal
you're yellow.
Seems like the perfect choice, Monarch. It's good to know that we're in the hands of somebody wise. Under your command, we'll recover from this. And win.
So, glasses dog. Holy yellow. So I kind of appreciate them being yellow, because the last time I had seen, like, a Keaton was in Majora's Mask with the little Keaton game, and that shit was yellow as hell. They all step away and go about their business. Oh, there are other rebels who think Dominic is responsible. That means there are others who support Dominic. That means there are others that support Dominic. I hope this is okay. Conflict is the last thing we need among our own forces. It would definitely hinder our morale in the coming storm. I turn back to Hal, who seems happy and relaxed.
We should probably get going, Monarch. Everything's on the ship, and everybody is here. Nada worked overnight to make sure we were ready.
Talk about dedication.
Shall we continue the rest of this discussion at sea? Alarinthia is quite far away. We'll take a shipping route used by our people in ancient times.
Oh. I nod and start to follow him aboard. Everyone else follows suit until we are all loaded up. This would be my first time at sea. I hope my body takes it well. I wait.
Come on, you can all do better than that. If you want my favor in our new nation, then get to work. A competent crew would already have us halfway to Alarinthia.
Huh? You're reading your lines too quickly, ma'am. Her crew nod and get to work, exactly as instructed. It seems her authority was respected, as harsh as she was. It's understandable that they'd want the favor of their new ruler. I walk to the center of the ship and slowly inspect my surroundings. It's a bit packed, I skip. As soon as Hal sees me, he slowly steps towards me. A few people follow behind him, more introductions. I guess it was better than being lonesome on the voyage.
Monarch, we're almost ready to set sail. However, there are people who wish to meet you. It seems that you are the subject of much praise to them.
I would say the vast majority of the cast is, like, undersaturated. Or maybe, like, appropriately saturated? I don't know. Yeah, I guess, like, a lot of the cast has been, like, a relatively, like, neutral saturation. There's just, like, aggressive red, some very aggressive blues, and then aggressive yellow. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Also, you know his son, who is, like, sky blue? I'm assuming he's a blackish gray furred whatever, canine? And had, like, purple paint? Fur patterns? I don't know. But, because I now looking at him, like, I think all of, like, the peach is just where there's no fur. Not needed. Just to match the purple markings. Yeah, because, like, originally, like, I just saw, like, oh, he's got, like, the pink and the purple on either side. So that's why he's like this. No, these are just, like, all the cuts and bruises, or all the cuts and gashes from when he was apparently absolutely annihilated, and the fur just hasn't grown back. He's got a feckin' Naruto symbol on his chest. But why would he only have the purple on the one side, though? That's weird.
And it is deserving. You brought them back from the dead.
Oh, yeah.
With a thirst for vengeance. They are ready to follow your every command. I'll take my leave until later. Come chat with us when you have the chance.
Right. Yeah, I also had to make a eternally damned army. He steps away from me with loud, heavy steps. I wonder if those people from before were also dead people, which is why they resented Dominic so much. It seems like he's still getting used to his new body. I turn to meet these new people, ready to make friends.
We were told that you were the one who gave us life. Thank you for this chance, Monarch. We will not waste it.
Hey, well,
this form requires some adjusting, but we will be fine.
I feel like the highlights on this one are okay. Definitely very poppy. The eyes popped immediately.
The pain may be intense, but it fuels
You're
our
orange.
every move. We will use it to kill the Triumvirate by your command. That is the wish of every member of the monarchy.
Why does everybody wear their pants so low? Are tail holes in pants just not a thing? Also, why is he... I guess he's just really tall. That's why he stands up so high.
We trust your judgment until the end of
Huskers.
Alestia. And after this war, we dedicate our lives to serving you.
You're
the
like...
second chance you've given us, we will cherish it.
You're, like, not beat up at all. Although, maybe if your throat was slit, that's why you're wearing a scarf. The other ones look in pretty rough shape. I'm not dismissing them. Good to see things went well. Honestly, creating Monarch vessels could have gone horribly wrong and fast. Yeah, I read that already.
All right, everybody. Here we go.
Why
Don't
did she-
forget your schedules. We need a smooth voyage. Anybody who slacks off will have no place in my new nation.
She's like... Is she the third female character? Oh no, we just had another one. She climbs up the rope netting on the side of the ship and looks out on the horizon with a smile on her face. She points toward the vast body of water before us.
To the seas we go.
Her grin repeats as if it was a monster before they set sail. Right. Like, seriously.
You are not my father.
Where
You
is the
say this to
relationship?
inform us, or to console yourself?
What are genes for 800?
Huh?
Like,
His question was self-explanatory.
I guess maybe his mom just had the dominant
I should
genes.
be mad at you. Furious.
Right, Fulton. Number 4. That's him on page 9. Yes. 410 paces around the deck and deep in thought. Everything changes over the past few days. What he's doing.
Hey there, Monarch. There's something that's been driving me insane. You know how we were all freaking out about Valinor? Without the heat from the spirits, it'd freeze over and it matches up with what people outside. We'll have to ask Howl the moment we get the chance. If it's like I think it is.
Talking to me, he still sits around. He looks happy. There's a lot true where blues are shine is not a bad thing. Blah, blah, blah.
At least it'll make my leadership of Valinor a lot easier. The one major problem. Let's just hope we get lucky like that in Alarinth. But their tradition isn't steeped in the spirits like ours was. No point worrying about things out of our control.
Check it out. Wanders over, pulls out the thingies. I think this may not be different.
They're adjustable, so you can wear them no matter what. You don't need to look for a foothold anymore. I know what I'm doing as soon as we get back. I'm heading to Valinor and climbing the Grand Tree. I want you to join me. It'll be I know what you're thinking, though. The only thing holding you back, I'll bring us a backpack with...
He's clearly excited. He's so passionate.
Besides, it's a pretty unique date destination, isn't it? Not many people can say they've been to the top of the Grand Tree. It's something special.
Aww.
You know, to match how special you are to me.
Aww. I don't think I've seen him this excited in a long time. All the worries have simply washed away. Walks around the ship again, starts doing his body, marathon of a lifetime.
I know there's so much danger in our... Besides, I doubt I'll be key to our Alarinthian alliance. People are worried that I'll fall off, but I tell them not to. It's a pretty boring voyage, so they make their own... I'd go insane if I were a pirate. I just know.
Visualizes for me, just different. Yeah, I'm different. Imagine Malteus is like, how much further
Sorry
will
for
we
rambling
go?
on, but yeah, there's nothing else to do. I bet the other people...
One question to ask you. Walks up with a sly smirk.
Do we make it to the top, or do we fail? What's your bet, Monarch? And no refusing. We're on a pirate ship, so we need to act like pirates.
I still don't get that needs to act like pirates.
Optimism? I love it. Yep, though I guess that would be fun to watch. Oh, I know! A kiss! Loser has to kiss the winner. And yes, I totally rigged it.
There it is. You don't get a kiss, but you get talk of a kiss.
This way, I win no matter what.
With a smirk and a wink, he quickly runs off. Yeah, climbing the tree, go back to Alarinthia. Admirable, bit naive. Weighs me down. Weighs me down a lot. Wartim's loyalty zine is available. Okay. Alright. Corrupted bunny. Save complete. Load. Need this one. He made me smile. He made me smile too. That was really cute. Alright. Retire to your quarters until you arrive at Alarinthia. I think so. I don't think there's anything left to do. I make my way downtown, walking fast. What does this save? There we go. Make my way down to the crew area of the ship. My bed isn't too hard to find. At least I have privacy. I find myself remembering what Grizz told me about the blade. It bends to the will of the wielder. That much was true. I've been able to use it to accomplish so much already. But what are the true limits of its power? Did I want to know? I rest the blade on my bed and sit beside it, cross-legged. Yo, I'm bonding with my character. I'm sitting with my legs crossed right now. Closing my eyes, I start to focus and clear my mind. This is probably a good time to test my limits. Blade of Exodus, show me our victory. I reach forward and gently touch the blade. My eyes are shut tightly and my resolve is clear. Yet, try and wish as I might, nothing happens at all. Did the blade have nothing to show me? Or maybe I was scared of seeing the future. It could be worse. Was there no victory in sight? I pull back and open my eyes. It didn't work. I scoff and rest the blade at my bedside, concerned. I drift off to sleep with an anxiety that wasn't there before. When I wake up, the sun pierces through the windows. With everything I was told, it means we're in Alarinthia. I grab the blade and immediately get out of bed. Running around the ship, I see nobody in sight. Did they leave without me? That's odd. Or maybe they let me sleep in. After everything that happened, I guess I'm thankful. I search for a map of Alarinthia and inspect it closely. If they left it, I should be able to meet them at the docks. What? I'm a bit sus. When I exit the ship, I notice everybody is standing around outside. Ulrich stands strong and tall, but all of my other comrades look defeated. Fanning themselves. Fanning themselves, it's clear that the heat is the source of this exhaustion.
Oh, geez, this is almost unbearable. Ulrich, how do people even live in this heat? It's
Get
only been
used
10
to it.
minutes and I already feel like death.
You get used to it, trust me. Besides, a lot of the
Like,
natives
is
are
his fur
draconic.
painted?
Their bodies don't handle the mainland too well.
The natives are draconic? Oh, whoa. So, is his fur painted or does it grow blue? You know it's humid as hell being next to the sea. Yeah? Oh god. Oh god, don't tell me Alarinthia is Florida.
Oh, I think I read about that. Hopefully they can adapt just as fast as we can. We'll be marching into Balteus together, after all.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Just make sure to have a drink on you at all times. In these deserts, dehydration is your greatest enemy.
Oh no.
Right.
They part ways and go about their business. Ulrich goes towards Pro and they start talking in private. Valessa ends up with Fortim, so I need to find my own company. Dominic and Hal stand together, so I slowly walk towards them. Hopefully some of the tension had settled after the long voyage. It would be detrimental to have two senior staff constantly at arms.
Hello, Monarch.
Hey.
We got the hey! It's real, we haven't been able to talk to him yet.
I was just about to ask Howl about Alarinthia. Surely it looks much different than it did back then. Legends dictate that it was once lush and full of green.
Legends that lie.
Oh.
Wait, really? But that can't be true. The destruction of the idol turned it into this desert.
Oh, wait.
Without spiritual energy to nurture the land. Oh, wait.
Precisely. Alarinthia has always looked this way. This legend you speak of is simply a poorly conjured tale. We often create stories to understand what we cannot grasp.
Wait, does that mean Valinor will be fine without the idol?
Correct. In our prison, we had no power. There is no logic behind these assumptions of yours. At least, no logic now that you know the truth of our kind.
Well, isn't that wonderful news? At least it narrows our focus a little bit more. I could tell that was a source of stress, Monarch.
Can't wait to tell this to Fortin and Valessa. I'm celebrating knowing how the monarchy suffered. That's an understatement. This is amazing news.
We are happy that we could ease some pain, Monarch. The fear of losing your homeland? We can't even imagine. At least it remained only that. A fear. We were not so lucky.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what do you mean you can't even imagine? You went through it. You don't have to imagine it. He crosses his arms and looks around the docks. I can tell he's wondering why we're still standing around. After all, we were here on a tight schedule, with the ball and all.
Normally there'd be a lengthy immigration process, but due to the ball, this nation is open to everybody. It's a long trek, but we can head straight into the city.
What do we do once we get there?
Look for Vivian, I presume. If we can't find her in time, then we'll head to the ball. But meeting her before then would be a huge advantage.
We agree with this course of action, Monarch. However, our knowledge of Alarinthia is not very deep. We'd suggest working closely with Ulrich in this endeavor.
I nod, agreeing with what they both have to say. As if that was to dismiss them, they both turn away. It's nice to see that they're getting along at least. Ulrich and Pro seem to be done with their conversation as well. Making my way over to Ulrich, I notice something odd. Out of the corner of my eye, someone is staring at me. Durg! It's Maladine! And you see, this yellow isn't nearly as aggressive as that other character. I make eye contact with them, and they quickly run away. That was concerning. Being by Ulrich is probably a good idea right now. As I approach him, he smiles at me. Odd. I thought he'd be miserable.
Hey there, Monarch. Welcome to my homeland. Forecast calls for excruciating heat and a chance of death. Just a chance, though. Let's hope it stays that way, right?
I nod. I guess he's using some humor to cope.
Let me guess. You have a lot of questions. I'll try my best to answer, but make it quick. We're on a strict timer here. We can't fail.
He motions toward the vast desert before us. Honestly, it seems to go on forever. It's crazy.
The ball starts in around 8 hours. Dinner time.
Dinner
If we don't
time!
move fast, we won't be able to make it. You know what's at stake, Monarch. Let's get going.
I nod. I guess he does have the authority here. After all, none of us know anything about this place. If we're following his lead, I'd better do what he says. Of course, I do have a few questions about this place. If I stop to ask him before we leave, I'd better do it fast. Missing that ball could be catastrophic to our cause. We got a side story with feckin' Hyena. What are you up to, Sovi? I am actually intrigued about Sovi's character. He interests me. And not because he's a furred dragon or anything like that. He actually just seems like a complex character, I guess. I think that's what it is. Halen, Sovi, and Fecker have finally arrived in Balteus. Making their way to the castle, Sovi trembled with anxiety. He didn't know how the Triumvirate would react to any of this.
Halen, can I talk to you for a moment?
Of course, Master.
Meanwhile, Halen has resting bitch face. They stop in their tracks, bitch face included. He knew enough not to intrude on their secret talks. He stood to the side even though he was now one of them.
Back in Museo, I was confident, but not anymore. I'm starting to worry that the Triumvirate will chastise me. What should I expect?
Not used to failing.
And how should I react if they do?
You act as if you haven't failed them before. Remember when I first became your apprentice? They thought you weren't teaching me good enough. You almost went insane when they gave you time off.
You would too, Halen. Trust me, it's boring. But that's nothing in comparison to what happened. We don't have the blade, and almost everybody escaped.
Through no fault of our own, remember? I have your back in this. I won't tell them the truth. However, I need to ask for one thing in exchange.
Of course.
Work on your personal issues, Master. I don't care what they are, just get them sorted out. But we'll save the bad news for last. We dealt a major blow to the rebellion, Sovi. With the loss of their leader, they'll be in disarray. If the Triumvirate doesn't like that, then it's their problem. Like you said, this isn't the last time we'll face them in battle. Whether it takes us days or months to win, it shouldn't matter. After all, we'll still win. With that said, are we clear?
In this moment, it seems like Halen was the one giving orders. However, Sophie had no choice but to obey. He couldn't risk being exposed.
We're clear. Let's continue walking. I'll think of what to tell them as we move along.
They break from their huddle and continue walking towards their HQ. Bitchface steps closer, striding in unison with Sylvie as they do so.
So, what was all that about? You said I was one of you now, right? When will you start treating me that way?
Oh, sorry. Force of habit. We were just talking about what we should tell our masters. While we did damage the rebellion, we failed in our objective.
You mean that blade?
Yes, and the seer.
Look, Sovi, you kinda saved my life. For that reason alone, you have my support. Whatever you want me to do, just let me know.
Sylvie smiles, having the support of his comrades. Any fears he had of being punished were quickly put to rest.
Thank you, Shane. It means a lot. I can tell we're going to get along just fine.
Alright, what are these two talking
I
about?
need to thank you again, Pommy. Your support means a lot to me. It truly does. Some of the rebels have started to side with Howl.
Oh boy.
A pretty dumb decision if you ask me. I know what they're thinking.
This is
that
Pro's
you're
voice.
Responsible, but that's impossible. Nobody could have seen what was coming.
Yeah, we were played. Caught off guard. I know it won't happen again, though. Things are different. It's almost like our belief in the spirit realm was holding us back. Do you think the people will even believe us, though? I mean, do you even believe the truth we've been told?
I don't really have a choice, Domek. Your speech gave us proof. It was undeniable.
Oh yeah, that's
doing
too.
the same thing to every other Alestian. Even if it takes years, you can do it. I'll even help you if you need assistance. Nobody said that things would be easy after the war.
You're right, and thanks for that offer. I'm pretty sure I'll take you up on it, since this is a tall order. But I know that almost anything is possible if we all band together.
Of course. So, for now, we need to fix the discord in our ranks. I'll talk with the rebels that are siding with Hal. They need to stop. There are no sides in this. We all fight for the same cause. And if they put their differences aside, well, Domek, we'll win this thing for sure.
Hey.
Hey.
Tell me about the ball.
Well, it's definitely not something Dracu came up with. Rulers of Alarinthia have been doing it for ages, actually. It's supposed to make your subjects less inclined to rebel. It's not really working if Vivian exists, but at the end of the day, it's still a nice party. As much food and drink as you could ever want. Don't worry, Monarch. I won't go overboard. I do like to drink, but not while I'm on a mission of any sort. I'll be tempted, of course, though I'm sure you can keep me in line.
Aww.
After the feast, there's a large ball, but it all starts with a speech. Basically, Dracu will be bragging about his power and influence. If he shows off how strong he is, he's less inclined to be challenged. Though if there is a challenge, they hold a tournament the next day. It rarely happens unless it's a drunken partygoer trying to play a joke. Everyone wakes up, hungover, and goes about their simple lives.
What about Dracu?
Honestly, I don't know too much about him. I've been out of the loop on Alarinthian politics for a while. But to hold the throne of this nation, you need to be fierce. So, if you think I'm strong, then you know nothing. He'll make me look like a whelp in comparison. And from what I've heard, he's pretty smart too. Most rulers, from what I've seen, simply bathe in their own riches. To hold a ball and share it with your nation? That's pretty genius. It destroys any motivation to remove him from the throne. And that's why Alarenthia hasn't had a tournament in a long time. The people are either happy or certain that they lose in combat. I'm betting on the latter, which makes Draco even more intimidating. Do not underestimate him, Monarch.
Wait
if
a
the natives can't
second.
dethrone him, what chance do we stand? Vivian might dream of a changed nation, but it'll stay that. Just a dream.
The guy's name is Draku, and this is a city of dragons. That seems kind of on the nose. If he's not a dragon, I'm going to be a little disappointed, but it'd also be kind of funny. Tell me about oh wait, notable places in Alarenthia.
The town square is a nice place, but it's just like Museo. A large market with people all peddling their homemade wares. You won't find anything you need, but you'll find everything you want. After that, I'd say to pay the Colosseum a visit. It's not just a venue used to battle for Alarenthia's throne. They have large battles every day, and you can place bets. Of course, my personal pick would be the tavern. Alarenthia has a lot of unique drinks, so I'll make sure to stop there. If I get my fill, maybe I'll be lucky enough to forget this entire voyage.
How does it feel to be back here after all this time?
It doesn't feel any different than I thought, if that's what you mean. Stepping foot on this soil didn't change my mind. It only solidified my hate. Let's do everything we can to get out of here as fast as possible, Monarch. Please.
Is there anything else you want to do now that you're back?
No, I just want to get the job done and get back home. If you think you can change my outlook on this place, you're wrong. I think this conversation is over, Monarch. We have a long journey ahead.
Yeah, I think so it is. I think so too. Okay. Yes. I think we can maybe do like 1 or 2 more screens? Is it? Why is it not attached? That's dumb. It's dumb. We take slow, heavy steps through the desert of Alarenthia. Heat assaults us, and the humidity is thick, like sheets in the air. Ulrich seems unfazed, but everyone else is handling it pretty badly.
I can't believe that people actually live here. How much farther is it, Ulrich? This is crazy.
I'd say around 6 to 8 hours. There's an oasis halfway there. We can stop. I have a feeling you've already exhausted your canteen.
It was too hard to resist. So, there's an oasis in a few hours? That'll be a good place to rest and relax.
We can't waste that kind of time, Dominik. There's enough time to fill up on water. That's it. If we take too long, we'll miss both Vivian and the ball.
This place is laid out very poorly.
Right, of course.
Dominik pants, sweat trailing through his fur. He's not alone, though. Almost everybody acts the same. Well, you see, I'm a dragon, so I'm fine. Also, that's been my headcanon this entire time, is that this is just my Sona, which is a dragon. So I'm fine. He should go bald. Dominik pants. Oh no! I just realized Hal is going to get a sunburn. Because of where he's been mutilated. He's not alone. Hopefully things will cool down once the sun starts to set. We move toward Ulrich as we walk through the desert. He was our guide, so I shouldn't let him out of sight. I could see the city in the distance, but no oasis at all.
Back in the day, they used these deserts as punishment. Criminals were sent out here and they had to prove their worth. If they were strong enough to survive, then they'd be taken back in.
What may prove as interesting?
Most of the time, the criminals would just succumb to the heat. They'd be unable to move, then they'd pass out. Death would come soon after. They called these people Sixers, since they usually passed out within 6 hours.
I'm not sure why he's telling this to me. Any number of things. Well, what was the thing that sparked you to say that? If he wants to pep me up, he's sure failing. We'd be out here for more than 6 hours.
In addition to that, their bodies lasted 6 days. Don't worry though, we'll be fine. We have water. That isn't the courtesy they wanted to give to criminals.
Well, at least that makes me feel better.
You're probably wondering why I'm telling you this story. Don't worry, I have a reason.
What the fuck? That line broke. Oh, what the hell? Yeah, that just straight up broke. I wonder why I'm telling you the story. He smiles and holds out his arm. Rotating it slightly, it shows off his tattoos. Now how do you tattoo fur? You just have to have constant maintenance?
If the Sixers survived, they gave them special markings. They were pardoned and to be respected for their power. A bit of a secret, you know? Just keep it between us, alright?
You're a criminal is what you're saying. So maybe he actually has done something heinous. Wait, so Ulrich is an Alorinthian criminal? Or at least he was, since it appears to have been pardoned. I'm glad he was comfortable enough to tell me this kind of stuff.
Besides, they look pretty good, don't they?
Urge to break Alorinthia law rising. I like how that's phrased. You were a criminal. I thought I knew you. Yeah. I wouldn't mind some of my own, actually.
Well, they haven't used that method of punishment in a while. You might just need to find a copycat artist like Salas did. If something looks cool, people always try to rip it off.
That is, like, shockingly, like, kind of relevant to today. Although I guess this game isn't old.
Anyway, I guess that's enough story time for now. The more you know about Alorinthia, the better. That, and it makes the walk go by way faster.
Yeah, skip one. Okay, I did not. I accidentally double-clicked. I was worried I skipped dialogue.
If you'll excuse me, I have some business to take care of. We'll have plenty of time to talk later, Monarch, trust me. If you find that you're needing anything, just wave me down.
Oh, were you contemplating getting a cat? Oh, okay. A tattoo. You mean I should add... Ah. I nod before looking back at the rest of my comrades. They look so drained and fatigued. We need that oasis, and fast. Yo, we can dock the Fortum. I didn't look at the place. I forgot that's something I can do.
They sure gave us a good ship. I have to say, that alliance was a great idea.
This is an impressive vessel.
Of course, it's amazing.
That is underwhelming. The monarchy had much bigger vessels. We simply assumed the pirates held back.
Oh.
Of course, we do not wish to condescend. We only wish to inform you of this world's past. Surely that is something that interests you.
Have outed them also being hunted. Criminals being forced into the desert. Oh. For some reason that sounds familiar. Like, even, like, this game aside, like, sending a prisoner or a criminal out into the desert to survive for, like, 24 hours sounds familiar, and I don't know where from. But the bit about having something also actively hunting them does sound familiar, too. I don't know why.
Oh, well, when you put it that way, sure. Sorry, I thought you were rubbing it in my face.
Only partly.
I'm not sure. Probably food and supplies. It's a long trek to Alorinthia. You need sustenance.
Who said it? What are these boxes for?
Oh, then where's our sustenance?
I think we went through most of it on the voyage.
Oh no! Are we gonna be in trouble?
No, let's get more.
Probably.
Oh.
What? Oh, wait. You're joking, aren't you?
Probably.
Why is Ulrich control the Fortum?
So what are these boxes for?
Oh, wait.
I'm not sure. Probably food and supplies. It's a long...
Why does Ulrich just take pleasure in trolling Fortum? I thought there wasn't a time limit. I think that was just like kind of two separate thoughts. Like the thought of like a criminal being out in the desert for like to survive for 24 hours. I vaguely remember that was like a thing from something. And then also just having somebody exiled and then something actively hunting them, I guess, also sounded familiar.
Is that Alarenthia? It's huge.
No, it's not. That's just immigration.
Immigration?
Yeah, if you're an outsider, you need to register. That is, of course, except during Dracu's annual ball.
So we can just waltz right into the castle.
Yeah.
Isn't that a little dangerous?
For us and the outsiders, yeah. Remember where we are, Valessa. Dracu could kill anybody in the blink of an eye. Letting in people from the mainland is no threat at all. Any threat to Alarenthian soil comes from Alarenthia itself. Of course, that brings about its own host
He's
of
teasing
problems.
him.
Wow. You sure know a lot about this stuff.
Unfortunately.
Is that Alarenthia?
Yep. He was, Fortem was asking about supplies, and then he's like, we're in trouble, aren't we? My job.
Whoa, I've never seen this kind of tree before. It looks really cool. What is it, Ulrich?
It's a pain. They're too thin and weak to be useful. All they can do is provide shade, but even that's weak. Hiding from the heat in this place is pretty much impossible.
So you can't climb them then either?
No, I wouldn't advise that. They'd break and you'd fall to the ground. I don't want to play doctor, so just stay away.
Right. Thanks, Ulrich.
Hey, what are you doing?
Oh, okay, it wasn't done. I was like, why is it zoomed in? It broke.
Oh, nothing. Nothing at all.
I just told you to stay away from those things. Come on, Fortim. You're smarter than that.
Now he's berating him. Why is it that those two just share a lot of scenes together? And they're just funny. I wonder if that's like the creator's ship that they had in mind. With Ulrich and Fortum. Sand, and more sand. Wait. What's that? Right! Sand! Okay. Glyphs act as landmarks. Without those, it would be easy to get lost. Getting lost in a desert could be easily deadly. Patent button. A lot sounds familiar to root campaign I'm player in, or have ideas about in the same way. The way you said bunship, not that you like said it, but reading the word bunship made me remember that either extremely staged or super bizarre proposal where you have the guy and the girl, and the guy's like, this is your ship, this is my ship, together we have a friendship, but I want to move to a relationship. He pulls out, he just has like boats. It just reminded me of that. I'm pretty sure he got rejected. Just listen to his landmarks. Not easy to get lost. What? Shut. Yes, that's Alarenthia, way out there. This is going to be one long journey. Hopefully the Oasis helps us out. Okay. Get time.
Hey, bro. Can I talk to you for a second?
Of course. What's up?
But the thing is, like, what do cannons and cannons have in common? I don't know what. One of them is the thing that shoots shit, and the other one is canon in terms of what's actually break up ships. Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, the type of canon that is what's true to the story. But I feel like what made that, like, whole car sequence worse is that he actually had physical, like, toy boats to, like, depict his puns. Which is partly why I said it was staged, because either he's super something, I don't know what, or it was staged. Like, I don't even know what you would call that.
I can't say in front of everybody else. I need to talk to you alone, in secret.
Aww.
Oh, is it about that?
Oh, is this something that Pro knows?
Pro, not in front of anybody else. Follow me over here and talk quietly.
Right. Sorry. Well then.
I think
what's
I've
up?
heard that before, actually. Okay. Well, damn it. I don't get to listen.
Hey.
Hey.
From what I've experienced so far, it's awful. I'm holding out on hope that it's colder in the city, but I know that won't be true. I bet it'll be even worse.
There's gonna be so many dragons, though.
If I lived here, I'd definitely be nocturnal. I mean, it must get colder at nighttime, right? I just sleep the day away. And that's a fact.
But when it's
So
fuck
I
off
guess not
hot,
much would
that's
change,
hard.
to be honest. Though I haven't been able to get much sleep lately. Anyway, yeah, it's basically the worst place in the world.
You think you'll be able to secure an alliance?
I sure hope so. Otherwise, this would be a waste. I mean, coming here and then leaving empty-handed, that'd mean we put ourselves through all of this for nothing. That's not my style, you know? I don't care if we have to fight in a tournament. We're not coming all the way here only to accomplish nothing.
Oh my god, I'm just imagining the city full of dragons. It's just like noon, and they're all just laying on roofs, just splat. Because that's just things lizards do. Who would you side with, Vivian or Draku?
Whoa, putting me on the spot, huh? I guess I'd probably side with Vivian. Ulrich hates this place, and I can see why. Politics would only make this a million times worse. So I think Alarinthia would be better off like the mainland. It's different, yes, but in my opinion, it's a bad different. Like, Mazeo was different, but it was good. The constant battle to see who is stronger? Yikes. Sounds like that would get pretty toxic, and fast.
Do you prefer Howl or Domic?
That's a tough choice, but I'd have to say Domic. It's not fair that Howl tried to pin all of this on him. Nothing that happened at the Rebel HQ was his fault. But that doesn't mean I hate Howl. Far from it. He seems so wise, and we could learn a lot from him. An entire ancient culture inside of him? Just think about it. There's so much we don't know about the monarchy. He could help us fill dozens and dozens of history books. I hope he survives this. He has lots of info to pass on to us.
Oh yes, any side of that oasis.
No, and I'm slowly melting.
Oh
I
no.
went through all my water within the first hours. My fault, I know. I'll make sure to ration it better next time. If there is a
Poor
next time,
Bun.
of course. I'm starting to think that this oasis was a lie. I see mirages, sure, but no real water.
God.
If you see it, make sure to tell me right away. I might even go for a swim if I have the time. You should join me. It'd be pretty
Aw.
awesome.
Alright, I think that's it for here. Onward, Stanley. To Destiny. And the Oasis. This looks like a detour. When we arrive at the Oasis, everyone immediately runs towards it. Opening their canteens, they fill them up and quickly drink up. I do the same before turning to face my allies in relief. I was starting to get parched and worried about passing out. The placement of the Oasis here is awfully convenient. I choose not to count our blessings as I face my friends.
This is amazing! Just what I needed. If you don't mind, I'm gonna take a swim. Just give me a few minutes, alright?
You don't want to do that.
Fortim, no. That's disgusting. People drink this water. It's not for swimming.
But...
No.
Fortum scoffs and crosses his arms. In this moment, I decide to tell them what Hal told me. Without the power from Salberg's idol, Valinor could be fine.
Wait, really?
That's amazing. And you're certain about this?
That's what he told me. I nod. Hal was definitely a reliable source. There was now an upside to all of our shaken faith.
I totally needed to hear some good news. This trek through the desert is downright awful. When we get back, let's all go to Valinor.
Yeah, definitely. It'll feel so good to be back home. With your vision and that dim idol, my outlook was so grim. But now that attack won't happen, and the idol doesn't matter.
I just had a thought. I had the vision, like the game opens with the vision, but there's no frame of reference for when that happens. And sure, Valessa like wears a bow on her back, but I don't think she has seen any amount of combat training. And there was a level of familiarity between her and Ulrich. There'd be some really big plot holes if that happens later in the story. Did you? You might have. Well, regardless, I guess I'm now processing that idea. I guess it would still make sense for her to, like, default to it being a vision. I don't know. I feel like that would leave so many plot holes. Especially since I feel like she would have met Sovi previously, one, and two, it's already been evacuated, but I guess people could move back into it. That's not necessarily, that doesn't necessarily matter. The only problem would be, like, why why wouldn't I have the sword at that time? Also, yeah, that's the thing. Vision yet to pass. Interesting thought. That would make for an interesting twist. And this could very well be kind of a hint towards it if it is like a breadcrumb. But, I mean, I feel like there would just be some knowledge that then Valessa would have that maybe makes things not make a ton of sense, but also, who knows? I mean, the Elder Scrolls and the Elder Scrolls are kind of the same way. They say things that have happened and will happen. I'll be honest, I'm not too well versed with the lore of Elder Scrolls games. I'm fairly certain that they all come up in some level of importance in all of the games, I think. Also, that's probably because I have only finished Skyrim, and the only, like, usage of the Elder Scrolls is to, like, look back in time.
Long live Valinor?
Long live Valinor.
Aw. We all smile parting ways. I look over at Ulrich and Pro. They're talking to each other, but very quietly, almost secretive. I choose not to interrupt them and I make my way over to Dominic.
Hey, we were just talking about our future options. I mean, would we rather side with Vivian or Draku? I think Vivian is the better option, but Hal disagrees.
As we seem to do in many matters, we need strength to win the upcoming war, Dominic. Vivian cannot deliver as much strength, only hope for her nation. If hope could win wars, we wouldn't even be here. In times like this,
so
we are
spiteful.
glad that you're not in charge. We trust that the monarch will make the proper decision.
Is he actually looking redder?
Well, what do you say, Monarch? If you had to choose right now, what would you do? Just a hypothetical, of course, nothing set in stone.
Good question. In Oblivion, the Elder Scrolls are not too important. But the point is, say things that didn't happen, which is often the most important thing to pay attention to. Interesting. It doesn't matter.
There you have it, Hal. We need to think about the future of this world too. It makes sense to give Alarinthia a new form of leadership.
There is nothing wrong with the way Alarinthia is run. You cannot change it simply because you do not like it. Such a move would make you no better than the Triumvirate. We cannot become the enemy we seek to dethrone. Your way of thinking requires some reevaluation, Domic. You may say means to an end, but so does the Triumvirate.
Wow, you paint me as such a villain.
A change in leadership would require the spilling of blood. Innocents would die, much like the occupation of Mazeo. Think of what you lost. Do you want to do this to others?
Dominic seems unable to come up with a response to this. Promptly changing the subject, he seems to admit defeat.
Well, are you all full up on water? Ulrich said we're halfway there, and we're making good time. I think we'll make it to the city with plenty of time to spare, Monarch.
Hal seems unamused at the sudden change in topic.
This body does not work like you would expect. We do not need water, and do not risk passing out. Whenever you're ready to continue, we will do so.
After saying that, we'll all part ways. We shouldn't stay here for too much longer. Missing that ball would damage our cause immensely. Whoa! Oh god! Purple eyes! Ah, that's because I chose to make seers instead of corpses. I'm curious. How does this line of dialogue go?
Well, there you have it.
I got impatient and just spam clicked.
Well, what do you say, Monarch? If you had to choose right... Oh, really? Come on, Monarch. I know we need strength, but we need to think about Alestia. We have the chance to reshape an entire nation here.
There is nothing wrong with the way Alarinthia is run.
No, it's just the same. Okay. Well, because I'm totally not simping for Dominic, I'm going to go and agree with him, even though this choice doesn't matter.
What do you say, Monarch? If you had to there you have...
Alright.
So, what's it like to be a seer? What kind of stuff are you starting to see? Does it hurt your head? Are you enjoying it?
It gives me great pleasure to see the future. But right now, it's just the little things. Indecipherable. Perhaps as we process this, things will become clearer.
I see loss in the future, loss and tragedy. But for which side of this battle, I cannot say. It seems to be a gut feeling at the moment.
Yeah, it's the same for me. Brief flashes. But I see a coliseum and a big struggle. I think you'll all be fighting during your visit.
Fighting? That's no fun. Hopefully your powers get better over time. Imagine how strong you'd be in those battles. Able to see every move before the enemy even makes it? With that power, we'd never have to worry about tragedy or loss. I can tell you're going to be one of the best assets in this war.
Why, thank you. That means a lot. I'm happy to serve the rebellion in any way I can. What they did back in those tunnels was inexcusable.
Yeah, I'd say we show them the same treatment. We'll fight for a future that all of you can enjoy. Even if we can't join that future ourselves.
That's certainly a pessimistic view, Ignis. There might be a way to save our minds, you know. This rebellion has proved that anything is possible.
Yeah, you're right. We'll make it through this.
Okay. And now we talk to... Hey.
Hey,
No, we have not talked to her yet.
I can't believe how hot it is, actually. I mean, Ulrich told us stories, and I thought he was exaggerating. As soon as we stepped off that ship, I knew he was actually right. Of course, he doesn't seem like the type to embellish his stories. Maybe some part of me was just hoping it wouldn't be that bad. He painted such a grim picture of this place, you know?
Who would you side with?
Vivian, hands down. I don't like the way Alarenthia is run. Relying on strength alone creates such a toxic atmosphere. Anyone with a brilliant mind would simply be pushed aside. That holds back the progression of society by so much. Valinor embraced new ideas and nurtured bright minds. If anything, it actually explains why Alarenthia is so primitive.
What are your thoughts on
It's
how...
so weird seeing our former elder just walking around. But I need to work on that. I need my mind to know it's not him. Salus is gone, and there's nothing we can do to change that fact. Hal is an interesting guy. He sure has a lot to say. His insight into the past of the world could fill 1,000,000 books. With all of those souls, he knows almost everything there is to know. He told me that society has actually regressed in Alarenthia. It used to be one with the monarchy. Their whole world was united. I hope we can make a world like that after this war is finally over.
Anything you'd like to accomplish while we're here?
Yeah, I want to break the record for most water ever ingested. I'll never take something like that for granted ever again, I swear. It makes me miss the water tank from back in Valinor, actually. Whenever we needed it, it was right there on demand. One oasis in the entire desert makes water pretty scarce. How do they handle the water situation in their capital?
Do you think Ulrich will be okay now that he's
I
back
think he'll
home?
be fine. It's just a lot to take in. He finally has a chance to change this place for the better. Apparently, that's all he wanted ever since he was young. I feel like this world will be completely different after we win. Such a scary thought. Well, scary and exciting. We're leading a revolution. I almost can't believe it.
Viva la revolution! Alright, now I get to click on things.
I
Water.
could sit here and drink this all day. I've never missed water so much in my entire life. In fact, leave me behind. I'll stay here until things are done.
Nice try, but you're not getting out of this that easy. Fill up your canteen, Fortune. We need to get going.
I love that Ulrich is just the one who rings him in. And also just heckles him the most. Like, I'm seriously starting to believe that if the writers / creators had, like, their own ships for people, it'd be these two, is one of them.
Wait, your canteen is so much bigger than mine. Can we trade? You're used to this desert, Ulrich.
I'm a bigger man.
Used to it? I haven't been here for
thousands.
Fine. You can have it, Fortune. Just fill it up and let's get going, okay?
Damn, how old is Ulrich? I was thinking he was a few centuries old. Was he alive, like, when spirits were, like... Is he an original Peoples?
Alright, score!
You know what? Fine. No sign of the city. How much farther can it be? I think Ulrich said this was a halfway point or something. Hopefully none of us pass out from exhaustion in this place. Fortum circles these trees. Clearly he wants to climb them. It's not very long until Ulrich grabs him and takes him away. He's almost become some sort of babysitter at this rate. See, like I said, Ulrich is just like... Oh, dusty bastard. Like I said, I think you've got some competition for the bun. In the form of big... canine... I'm still not quite sure what everyone is. We arrive at the gate, and... We arrive at the gates to Alarinthia after an exhausting trek through the desert. It feels like things will change now that we are here, but they probably won't. A fight I refuse to lose. But he's got, like, he's got millennia of, wait. Yeah, he's got millennia of experience. Oof. Even Crafty knows. Like, he just has so much, he has so many more years of experience at reining in rabbits, I guess. The city won't be any more inviting. There just might be more water. Now, sometimes when I click, it doesn't progress. A lone man stands at the gate, and I recognize him. He's the man that I saw watching us back at the docks. This can't be a coincidence. He must be after us. Ulrich notices him and starts to walk towards the gate.
Let me handle this. I've been here before. He probably knows who we are. Info travels fast here. Just stay calm and I'll have us in the city in no time, alright?
You just reminded me of, like, the bit in the game that I've never played, Undertale, where it's just like, if you, like, die or whatever, it just says, but it didn't. It refused, or whatever. Well, I'm on a 1 to 10 ratio of years of experience. We all nod, leaving Ulrich to handle the situation.
We seek passage into the city and nothing more. It's been a long trip from Azeo and we need shelter. Our business lies with the ones known as Vivian and Draku.
The man remains silent for a few moments before bursting into laughter.
I know exactly who you are, Ulrich. Vivian is waiting for you in the tavern. And Draku? Well, you'll have a ball to attend.
Wait, how do you know who I am?
Dirk.
I followed you all, up until the Oasis. That was my chance to get ahead and tip off Vivian. Besides, you stick out like a sore thumb. Nice markings, Sixer.
I trust that won't be an issue.
It shouldn't, but I'm surprised you found somebody to do that. Recreating the markings of the ancients is frowned upon. They earned those markings. You certainly did not.
Nah, he did. He's old as shit.
Of course.
Though you do bear a striking resemblance to the
Ulrich of Legend.
If anything, that'll make your relationship with Vivian more amicable.
Yo, I figured out the thing's plot. Because they said that Vivian's trying to relive a champion of old who wanted to change things. He's old as shit, which I had discerned at some point. So he's that champion of old.
I was given this name by my parents. They align with his views, and so do I. If that'll be all, we'd like to keep going.
He's just a fanboy of himself.
Of course. I wasn't standing here to stop you. I merely wished to welcome you back home. I hope you and your monarch end up useful.
Monarch in heavy quotes. Part of me hopes all of the dragons here are Drac or Draw something. Another part of me hopes that they have a bit more to them than that. He bows to Ulrich as a sign of respect. Oh, so that was part of the whole... Also serpents. Yeah. Also, back when everything hit the fan in Chapter 3 and everybody died, but then didn't die, all of the... So, back off long ago, the Triumvirate invaded, like, this utopia of people, and those people all basically got imprisoned into the spirit realm, or they became the spirit realm, something like that. We then went to, like, the only, like, actually functioning spirit idol, which apparently was just a prison for those spirits and energy and such. Ex Machina happened there, that's why everybody's alive. That's how Hal got created. That's why Hal, like, says we, because... also that's why everyone's saying that it's the corpse of their old elder, because that's just where he was buried. So all of, like, the spirits there possessed the corpse. So So there's like multiple entities there. And on top of that, that energy didn't all go into the corpse. The vast majority of it went into the player character. And because of that, we are now the former civilization's new king. And that's why everyone calls us Monarch. Because that king also apparently rules the world. We absorbed the spirit energy of the majority of the energy of a long dead race, and thus have inherited the throne because of it.
By the way, call me Drakior.
Drakior, we already know your name. I can't poop your snoot. Ulrich nods before turning back to us, before turning back to face us. Drakior enters the city, likely returning to Vivian's side. I am glad that our quest in this land has finally has some direction.
That was easy. Because of the ball, there's almost no security. I knew he'd be involved with Vivian. I could just tell.
Yeah, like, this is what I was saying earlier about comparing it to a soap opera where the writers wrote themselves into a corner. They didn't know how to progress the plot, so they just killed everybody. And then undid that immediately. The writing in Chapter 3 is pretty guffed, to say the least. That's also why I was calling Shane shithead or whatever I was calling him. Asshat, maybe? Because, long story short, there's a note that says his mission was different from what Sophie convinced him of, and there's no reason for him to betray Dominic, but he still did because, they had him set up to, like, not betray him, but then he still did it. It was dumb. It was very dumb. I don't like Shane.
So we'll have enough time to meet with her before the ball. That's great. I was worried we'd be on a tight schedule. You can't really rush decisions that change a nation.
Yeah, we have.
It was definitely fortuitous. We better make sure it's not a trap. And that's the perfect way to catch us off guard.
Well, he didn't seem disingenuous.
And that's the perfect way to catch us off guard.
Also,
Right. So, what's the next step?
there was like one PNG where Ulrich had his sword out, and it's just basically a Zweihander. So there's no reason that it should not be like sticking out behind him. He does not use a curved greatsword.
We head into the town square. If the tavern hasn't moved, it's connected. We'll be seeing Vivian within the hour, for sure.
Alright, sounds good to me. Is there more water in the city?
No.
Yeah, but don't ask for water in the tavern. It's seen as a sign of weakness amongst Alarenthians. If you drink anything while we're there, make sure it's ale.
Everyone stands around seeming to wait for my mark. There's something up with Ulrich. I have a strong gut feeling. A secret talks with Pro and some of the things Drakior said. Also him slipping up and almost saying thousands of years. There's nothing to click on here. Wasn't anything on the map, was there? No parallel chronicles. Alright, what's up? No! He doesn't say hey! I'm disappointed. You failed me. You failed me for the last time. Is Alarenthia the same as it was back then?
No. It is completely different.
More primitive.
More primitive. Alarenthia existed in unison with the monarchy. It was one part of a larger whole. It was peaceful.
Why is what? Why did he fail me? Because every other NPC that is in our party that we can talk to say, hey. And he just says, We were 5 for 5, and now we're 5 for 6. Hey. Oh well.
Being stuck in a constant power struggle sounds awful, but still, it has given us what we...
Yes.
Being stuck in a constant power struggle sounds awful, but still, it has given us what we need. A strong potential
God
ally.
damn it.
Draco is the result of generations of a savage cycle of growth. Every ruler is stronger than the last. For almost an eternity, they have followed these laws. Draco and his army must be exceptional in their power.
So while I was looking over at you guys, I saw in my little preview on OBS this right here, and I saw this like little white semicircles, half circles as like eyes, and then when I looked back over to it, it then became an uwu face. So rip. Time for bed since work. Yep, I shall be doing the same here. Not too long. Shortly. Whatever. You have a good night, Hoodie, and thanks for hanging out. I shall be following you soon to the land of sleep, hopefully. How are you handling being in Salus's body?
We have no complaints. It seems to be others who have problems. Especially those close to Salus, like his son.
Taste the sun.
But we will work on that while we travel. Perhaps your forces just need time to adjust. This must be a jarring transition, to say the least.
Did you really make it through the desert with no water?
We require no sustenance. We may eat and drink with this body, but it is not necessary. If anything, we would do it for pleasure, rather than to survive. But pleasure is not something we require either. So, because of that, we choose not to eat or drink. There are those who need it more than us, Monarch.
Do you really think we'll win this war and defeat the Trinity?
We are unable to comment on this matter. Conjecture of that kind will lead nowhere constructive.
This also
we must simply increase our chances of winning and try.
Okay. Yeah, that's everything on this screen. Okay. Yeah, this is definitely a good place to stop. We're about to go into the city and do more important choices, undoubtedly.